Welcome to Miss Madeline's Kitchen, the only cooking show that shows you how to take your words, phrases, and fragments and turn them into flavorful sentences and narratives in only a matter of minutes.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na, Madeline's Kitchen.
I'm Miss Madeline, and this is Cooking with Words. As you may remember, last time we talked about using adjectives and adverbs to really spice up your sentences. And since then, I've been getting a lot of viewers who have written in with some of their questions. One of them, Miss Madeline, thank you for your tips. They have been very helpful in helping to make my sentences more interesting. But I find that as I'm writing, it's also becoming more confusing. Miss Madeline, how do I keep the flavor of my sentences using adjectives and adverbs like you described, but not lose out on the meaning? Miss Madeline, what tips can you give me to help keep my reader's attention over the course of a paragraph? Well, with these questions, one of the things that I can offer to you is this tip that I have for you today. Expand, combine, and reduce your sentences in order to keep your meaning, maintain your reader's interest, but keep your style. And today I'll show you how to do that with our guest chefs, and we'll be focusing mostly on reducing sentences because that seems to be the problem that most people are having. So why don't you join me in my kitchen and we'll get started. Today's guest chef is Miss Melanie Blanche. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Miss Madeline.
Melanie has been having the same problem as some of our viewers, and so I thought I'd bring her on today and give her some help and give her a little cooking lesson on her own. So why don't you tell us what you're having problems with today?
Well, I seem to be having a problem with my sentences being really wordy. I feel like they're really overcomplicated, and I just can't seem to get the message across that I want to without all these extra things getting in the way. So I really need your help.
That's a really important skill to have because sometimes if your sentences are too long or too many words, they can't be clear for the reader, and then the readers don't want to read them. And then what would you do with your writing?
Exactly.
So why don't you show us what sentence you have today?
Okay, well, my sentence that I have today is, the bright and really fuzzy orange and gray cat decided to take a long walk around the sandy beach and eat all the fish he wanted to because he was really hungry and fish was his favorite food.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take your sentence in chunks and then work inside those chunks, and then we'll put it all together at the end to make it one nice long sentence again.
Okay.
So I took the liberty and I went ahead and put your first section on our cutting board here. And I'll just read it for you. The bright and really fuzzy orange and gray cat. This is a great descriptive part of your sentence. But as you said, it's kind of wordy. So when we're cutting things down, one of the things to keep in mind is that the word really is a filler. And you don't need it in your sentences because it doesn't add any substance or flavor to it. So why don't we go ahead and just take that out and work with the rest.
Cut that out.
Perfect, and you can put it in our bowl here, and we'll use this for our leftover garbage so we can compost it later because save the earth.
It's always good.
Okay, so now we have the bright and fuzzy orange and gray cat. So after we take out words that we know are extraneous, like really, we can look and see which words might be able to combine into one word that means the same thing that you're trying to say with perhaps 4 words.
So maybe orange and gray, is there another word I could use for that?
Right. Can you think of a type of cat that you see around and kind of the name for it?
Maybe calico.
That is a great word.
Perfect.
Why don't you take one of our blank cards and you can grab a pen, any color. It's a nice spicy color.
Yeah.
Do you know how to spell calico?
C-A-L-I-C-O.
Perfect. Lovely. So why don't you go ahead and cut out orange and gray, and then you can put in calico. So the next thing you're doing when you're trying to reduce sentences is make sure that as you take things out, your sentence still remains logical and kind of makes sense to the reader so they can follow along. So there's one word in here that I'm thinking of that might not make so much sense when you're talking about cats. Can you think of what it is?
Maybe fuzzy?
You know, I actually have a cat and he's rather fuzzy, so I think fuzzy is okay.
Okay, maybe bright then?
That's the one I'm thinking of because, you know, cats, they don't really emit light, so cats can't really be bright. They can be colorful, like your calico cat, but why don't we go ahead and cut out the word bright?
Okay, should I take out and too? Because then I just have a random and in there.
That is correct.
Okay.
Because the word and is used to combine 2 ideas or 2 nouns, it's used to combine things, and right now, since we only have one, we don't need a combination.
Exactly.
So we edited out the first section of your sentence. The fuzzy calico cat is our new part, and I think that sounds great. It's nice and simple, but it's descriptive, and it still maintains your voice and the meaning of your sentence. So we're going to take the next part. decided to take a long walk around the sandy beach. Are there any words in this part of your sentence that you think might be extraneous?
I think that it's kind of wordy and really descriptive. So maybe I could take out one of the adjectives?
That sounds good. As you're considering which one to take out, just keep in mind that you do want to keep your voice in there. So what do you think would be a good option?
Well, I'm thinking maybe take out sandy because we all know beaches are sandy, so it's kind of just extraneous.
Yeah, that is a great point. Go ahead and cut out sandy.
Okay.
Good. I love your knife technique.
Thank you. I've watched all your shows, so I've learned from the best.
Aw, thanks. Great. So the new one. Decided to take a long walk around the beach.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Great. Let's put this on in. And we're going to take your next part, which is a bit longer. Okay. First things first. What was the first thing we talked about when we started reducing? Really
is a filler, and I have a really in this sentence, so I think I can go ahead and cut it out.
Yes, that sounds great.
There we go.
Great. And eat all the fish he wanted to because he was hungry and fish was his favorite food. Okay.
Wow.
So, the next thing we do when we're rearranging sentences is think of how we can say this simply, and part of that is putting ideas in a different order.
Right.
Or substituting long phrases with a single adjective. For example, and let me show you this, he was hungry. What if we took he was hungry and we just cut it down to hungry, right? That changes it. Let's take these out. Okay, so now we have hungry, and I'll cut that up. We have the word hungry here. And I think, since this is an adjective, we can put it up at the top. So what if we said, the fuzzy, hungry, calico cat?
That's genius.
Yeah, and see, what you're doing is you're keeping your idea, but you're making it more clear with fewer words. And that's really what we're trying to get at here. One of the things I want to caution you of is cutting too much, because we do want to keep the idea there. So I think if we leave in eats all the fish, that's implying that he really likes fish because he's trying to get a lot of it. So maybe we can take out the idea that fish was his favorite food.
Okay.
So for one reason, we already kind of have it implied in the beginning, and also we're talking about a cat, so it kind of makes sense that fish is his favorite
Right.
food.
That makes a lot more sense.
Okay, so I'm just going to cut a line on here, and we'll just
Okay.
take this big section and clean it off. Oh, there we go. Don't want to leave any scraps behind. And now we have, and eat all the fish you wanted to because.
Well, because doesn't make a lot of sense on the end of the sentence.
Correct.
Do we need to move it to a different part or get rid of it entirely?
What do you think?
I don't know. The fuzzy, hungry calico cat decided to take a long walk around the beach because he wanted to eat all the fish?
We could try that.
Okay.
Let's see. We're on the beach because.
Oh, but I don't have a he.
Okay, so what's another option?
Maybe the fuzzy, hungry calico cat decided to take a long walk around the beach to eat all the fish.
Let's try that. The fuzzy, hungry calico cat decided to take a long walk around the beach to eat all the fish.
I think that sounds a lot better.
That sounds great to me too. All right, now the next thing and the final step in reducing sentences is to make sure that our punctuation is correct. So the first thing we need to do is add a period to the end of your sentence.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because it's important to mark where your sentences end. Why don't you take a different pen and you can put a little period there. Okay. And periods go anyway, so we're just gonna stick that on at the end. Okay. And the other thing to keep in mind is commas. So commas go in when you have a list of things. In this case, at the beginning of your sentence, you have a list of 3 adjectives. So in between each adjective, we can put a comma to clarify that the cat is fuzzy and hungry and calico.
Okay.
So what we need is just 2 commas. One for after fuzzy and one for after hungry.
It's such a good sentence.
This is perfect. Look how many words we cut out.
Wow.
And what you did was you kept the meaning of your sentence. It's still interesting to read. It tells a good story about a cat going to eat fish and you want to find out why. And finally, it really captures the reader's interest while maintaining your meaning. So good job.
Thank you so much, Miss Madeline.
Yes, thank you for coming to our show. And please, if you ever need help again, just write in, come back. Our viewers would love to see you. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Good, and enjoy.
I love it. Thank you.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na, Madeline's Kitchen.
I'm Miss Madeline, and this is Cooking with Words.
Always be careful in the kitchen.